Welcome back, friends. In the previous lecture we have talked about wave polarization. It's a time to discuss the next point of the topic. The next point of the topic is reflection of the plane wave by conductor at normal incidence. Okay, so reflection, it's simply reflection of the uniform plane wave at normal incidence. What I mean to say, let's take one example. These are special cases of reflection by perfect dielectric normal incidence and Snell's law. So this is the last point. So reflection of a plane wave at the normal incidence. Let's draw one surface, or say this is a interface. From one side of this, a wave start traveling and strikes this particular interface at a normal incidence. So how much amount of this wave will be reflected back in this direction, how much amount of wave will be transmitted in this direction. So mathematical relationship between this transmitted incident and reflected wave is nothing but the concept of reflection by conductor at normal incidence. So we'll try to understand. We'll first of all take a dielectric case, and then we'll consider conductor and free space as its special cases. So if a wave is propagating, if it has strike this surface at the normal incidence means 90-degree incidence, okay, then how it will reflect and what amount of it will be transmitted. There is also case of oblique incidence, where interface is something like this and wave is coming and it is incident on it at an oblique incidence or at an angle, certain theta angle. It's not equal to 90. That case we are not going to discuss here. For your syllabus, only normal incidence is supposed to be asked. Once again, this is important derivation in the examination point of view. Sometimes as it is derivation will be asked. It is something like boundary condition that we have talked about. Simple way, boundary condition, we have taken direction of E bar, direction of H bar at an interface, then we have understood a current, then we have applied a closed path. It's very easy to understand. This derivation is very simple, but concepts are more important. Sometimes numericals can also be asked, but till date no numerical is asked in an examination. So reflection of plane wave at normal incidence. When a plane wave from one medium meets a different medium, it's partly reflected and partly transmitted. Yes, when in the previous slide also we have gone through that the wave incident, partly it will be reflected, partly it will be transmitted. The proportion of the incident wave that is reflected or transmitted depends on certain parameters. See, if I am talking about a medium will be characterized by certain properties. What are those properties of the medium that by which they are characterized? One is its conductivity, its permittivity, its permeability. So if I am having a certain medium 1 or medium 2 with certain permeability and conductivity, definitely these factors are going to affect the propagation of electromagnetic wave in the certain medium. So we'll assume here that incident wave is normal to the boundary between media. So this is a boundary and this is the wave which is coming, something like this, a normal incident. Okay, so let's understand this. Look at this particular diagram first of all. Okay, so let's talk about electric field component of it, because electric field only defines the polarization. If that is the case, let's say this is a component of incident wave, EI component of incident wave, this is ER component of the reflected wave, and this is ET component of the transmitted wave, and this is the interface, XZ interface. So this is XZ plane. So wave from medium 1, which is characterized by sigma 1, epsilon 1, mu 1, is incident at this interface. The part of that wave will be reflected in the medium 1 only, and part of this wave will be transmitted in the medium 2, which is characterized by sigma 2, epsilon 2 and mu 2. Okay, to understand the concept of this dot and cross, you just put your right hand in such a way that your thumb indicates your direction of wave propagation. Okay, you already know that. Then your first finger will indicate direction of EI, and your middle finger, you just take your right hand in such a way that your thumb, first finger and middle finger are mutually perpendicular to each other. Put it on this way. So if your thumb is in the direction of wave propagation, your first finger or index finger is in the direction of EI, definitely this HI will be indicated by your middle finger. So it is pointing towards you, coming outside the plane of paper. Is it okay? Coming outside the plane of this mobile where you are watching this video, or coming outside the plane of board where we have drawn this particular diagram. So all these things are mutually perpendicular. So EI is perpendicular to HI, that we have already discussed, and wave propagation is entirely perpendicular to the plane containing EI and HI. Okay, similarly let's talk about ER. Once again, take your right hand, but now instead of your right hand, put your right hand in such a way that your thumb indicates the direction of wave propagation in the leftward direction. If your thumb indicates wave propagation in the leftward direction, your middle finger still indicates the ER component, that is reflected electric field component, and your middle finger, which is going inside the plane of paper, which is going inside the plane of this laptop, or which is going inside the plane of your mobile, is nothing but your HR component. Once again, ER and HR are mutually perpendicular, and wave propagation is perpendicular to the plane containing ER and HR. So medium 1, sigma 1, epsilon 1, mu 1. Similarly, now I am talking about medium 2. Once again, keep your right hand in such a way that your thumb should be in the rightward direction. So thumb indicates direction of wave propagation, first finger indicates direction of ET, your middle finger indicates which is coming towards you or which is going upwards, will indicate the direction of HT. And this is the interface at z equal to 0. Once again, z equal to 0 means this z axis is coming towards you. So put your right hand in such a way that thumb indicates z axis, first finger indicates x axis, then definitely z axis, y axis will be coming towards you in your direction. Okay, so this is the plane at z equal to 0. So let's talk about this particular thing, and let's derive certain expression. So suppose we have a wave propagating along plus z direction, is incident normally on the boundary at z equal to 0 between medium 1, z less than or equal to 0, characterized by sigma 1 epsilon 1 mu 1, z less than 0, and characterized by sigma 1 epsilon mu 1, and medium 2 z greater than 0 is characterized by epsilon sigma 2 epsilon 2 mu 2 as shown in figure. Okay, so medium 2s are clear. Now try to understand certain expression we need to write. We already know how to write the wave equation. So the incident, reflected and transmitted waves in figure are obtained as follows. How they are obtained? Let's say EI and HI are traveling along EI HI, that is component of EI HI. So power will be traveled along positive z axis. Just see this, the wave is propagating along this rightward direction. This rightward direction is nothing but the z axis. Perfectly okay. If we suppress the time factor e raised to j omega t and assume that EI of S, so factor EI, that is electric field incident represented in phasor form, which is a function of Z. Try to remember this. Every notation has its own significance. EIS, that is component of electric incident electric field, which is represented in the phasor form, which is component, which is a function of Z coordinate, is equal to EI0. What is EI0? EI0, its initial amplitude into e raised to minus gamma 1 z. What is gamma 1? Gamma 1 is nothing but the propagation constant, which can be represented by alpha plus j beta. Why minus gamma 1 z? Because wave is traveling in the plus z direction, we should consider minus gamma. If at all a wave is traveling in the minus z direction, we might have take plus gamma 1 z in the reflected wave that we will try to see. And what is the component of EI0? What is the direction of EI0 component? Let's see here. EI is directed along which direction? It is directed along AX bar direction. Okay, so once again try to understand this equation. So the equation of EIS of Z is equal to EI0, the wave amplitude, initial amplitude of EI0, e raised to minus gamma 1 z. Gamma indicates propagation constant and 1 indicates the wave is in the medium 1. Z indicate, minus Z indicate wave is traveling in the plus Z direction, and this AX bar indicate this is the direction of electric field intensity component in the incident wave, that is this is the direction of EI. If I had got the equation for EIS, can I write the equation for HIS according to the pointing theorem? Yes, definitely I can write the equation for HIS. So HIS of Z is equal to HI0 initial amplitude e raised to minus gamma 1 z AY bar. Why it is AY bar? Once again I will take you back here. Okay, so if EI direction is going along X, once again keep your right hand in such a way that your middle finger is coming out. Your middle finger is coming out in the direction towards you, outside the plane of paper. Yes, and this is what? This is X direction, this is Z direction. What is the axis which is left, which is coming towards you? It is Y axis. So HI will have the component along AY bar direction. It's not a mistake, it's correct. So HI0 e raised to minus gamma 1 z into AY bar. Can I write HI0 in terms of EI0? Yes, I can write it by using intrinsic impedance equation. So ei0 divided by eta1 e raised to minus gamma 1 z into ay bar. And what is ei0? Ei0 is nothing but the amplitude here, and eta1 is the intrinsic impedance of medium 1. Okay, so just go through this equation once again. In the next lecture we'll talk about reflected wave, then transmitted wave, and we'll try to find certain relationship between them in order to establish transmission coefficient and reflection coefficient of the wave for the two medium. So till then, thank you very much and happy learning.